Second module of McGill Academy's tutorials, Introduction to Sketching. So in the previous video, we touched slightly on selecting views and setting up sketches and setting up reference geometry as well. And to help with that, we have Bob here, which is a rectangular prism. However, Bob's already done everything he needed to do for us. So I'm going to right click here, press delete, and this will cause an error if I press yes. And the rationale for that is the fact that this plane 3, that was in front of Bob, was dependent on Bob. So to clarify further, when we constrained our reference plane, what we had to do is select Bob's front face as a point of reference for that reference plane to exist. But now that face doesn't exist anymore. So as a result, this plane is sort of lost and confused and could not find a face or a plane. So to deal with this, we can simply delete it. And in later videos, we'll show how to resolve issues like this as well, with regard to parents and relations. However, all that's left here is what we're going to focus on, which is Bob's sketch, the sketch from which we extruded from. To edit this sketch, what you could do is right-click on Sketch 1 and press Edit Sketch. However, we're not interested in that. We want to start a new sketch. So delete that. And what I did is I went on the Sketch tab here and just pressed Sketch. And as you can see, it gives us 3 different instances of reference geometry to choose from to start our sketch from. I'm feeling spicy. I'm going to go for the front plane. So what we're left with is our coordinate system. Our coordinate system, as you can see, is in 2D rather than 3D. And that makes sense because all of our sketches are going to comprise of 2D objects. So to get started off with, I'll divert your attention to these tools here. So these are all of the geometrical tools that you're going to be using to create your sketches. You've got lines, circles, splines, rectangles, 3-point arc, so on, so on. You can sort of see how they're going to look by looking at these images. Furthermore, if you press these drop-down menus, these are different methods of creating each of these objects. So say you want, let's say, a line here, and you bring it upwards. And rather than creating 2 different lines that are the same length, so say we want to make one that's like 5 inches long this way, and make one that's 5 inches long this way to make one horizontal line on the top that's 10 inches long, we could be a lot more efficient by pressing the midpoint line and making it 10 inches long, like so. Again, a lot of these features you're just going to have to play around with to sort of get an intuitive sense of what the best tool is to use in each situation. But looking back at our line, I'm going to show you the basics of creating sketches and how to make sketches that are more defined, are more symmetric. And it starts off by choosing a good coordinate system. So as you can see here, our coordinate system is right in the reference plane. It's sort of lined up in a way that's easy to interpret. And as a result, our sketches will follow that as well. As you can see, this sketch is locking to any significant angle. So that was 180 degrees, 90 degrees, 0 degrees, you get the point. And this will help by creating a more rigid sketch. So we can even update this as we go. So say we make this line here, I press escape to escape the line selection. And as you can see, its length, if you hover over each of these icons, you can see what they entail. Its length and angle are sort of arbitrary. So say I want to make this a 5-inch long line. I just did that. Say we want to make it 60 degrees from this axis right here, this x-axis. We can do that. And you just press check and you're done. Furthermore, you could do this with smart dimensioning as well. Smart dimensioning is particularly useful whenever you want to create a sketch with 2 different objects that need to be related to each other in somehow. So say we have these two different objects right here, these two different lines, and what we want to do is set a hard angle between the two of them. So say we want to set this to a 50-degree angle. We can do that. Furthermore, it doesn't just have to be the angles as well. What you could do is get rid of this constraint and also implement different lengths as well. So as you can see here, this smart dimension, what it's going to do is it's going to change the vertical height of this diagonal line as well, rather than changing the length of its hypotenuse. If you want to change the length of its hypotenuse, simply just move your mouse to this particular view. As you can see, it shows you what it's going to change. This tool, Smart Dimension, is particularly useful whenever you have sort of a situation going on where your coordinate system doesn't necessarily follow like a clean, homogeneous reference point, and you need to reference objects based on different objects that are close by. The Smart Dimension tool will always be your best friend there. That's all for this part of the video. Tune in for the next part for further help regarding filleting and trimming, offset, etc. Thank you. Bye.